Hello. We're back.
Hi. God stabbed my car.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
Let's see if these drinks work out, because I didn't make a honey syrup out of the honey that's in it. I just forgot. Not bad.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. But, yeah, it worked out pretty well. Yeah, where's... Oh, it's behind the whiskey. Yeah, let's roll.
I upped yours.
Yes, we're going to work that. So we're going to take it. 19 and 15, all right. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking shitty, man.
I feel real bad. That sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now that you're actually in person, like, full story, like, you...
So, on 94...
I'm gonna pour this, too.
Yeah, please do. I didn't go to work today, so I'm wearing normal clothes. It looks like something I would wear to work, though. But yeah, driving home from work. I was supposed to go to the D&D, but I was like, I got new dice and a dice tower. I gotta stop at home and pick those up. If I hadn't stopped at home, this wouldn't have happened. But on 94, when you get off on the 10-mile exit, it's really annoying because there's all those people coming onto the freeway.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get off, so it's like,
Yeah.
you gotta fucking go.
Yeah. It's like a scissor.
Yeah. The truck that had the piece of metal on its truck bed got in front of me right when I was getting over. Shit fucking flew. I didn't see what it was. I thought I just drove something over and was like, maybe my bumper's fucked, because that sounded like it hit hard.
Yeah.
Finished the drive home because it was only like a mile roughly. Got home, got into my driveway because I was like, I'm gonna pull in the driveway, check out my front end. If it's something I can fix real fast, I'll fix it real fast. And then, yeah. But I got into my driveway, turned around, and there was this fucking... It looks like the head of a rake. Just jammed into my grill. And looking at it, I was like, oh, fuck yeah. It only hit my grill. Cool. No damage on my bumper. Let me pull that out, see how bad it is on the grill. Pulled it out, and then all of my coolant just went everywhere. And I was like, oh, no.
You could have just, like, cut it at the base and let it stick in there, hold like a wound
there for a little while. But
yeah, you wouldn't have made it. It would have leaked through the night.
Oh yeah, it would have
slow death.
Sure. It was already leaking because I saw the trail into the driveway, but then it got worse when I pulled it out. But
is it Sampuki or Sampukai, whatever when the Japanese sell seppuku? Yeah, your car got fucking seppuku.
That's basically what it was. The meme I made today I thought was hilarious. Sephiroth
Cloud
stabbing my car.
Or not? Yeah, not Cloud Sephiroth. Oh my god.
Yeah, I fucking I called insurance. I fucked up originally because I still bank with USAA.
Yeah.
But I forgot they suck balls for insurance, so I switched like a year ago.
Yeah.
Like before I moved to Chrissy's. But I called USAA.
Oh.
And I filed a claim with USAA.
Oh.
And they were like, I'm not seeing what your coverage covers, so the adjuster's going to have to give you a call. And I was like, all right, that's fine. And then I called my dad to let him know. I was like, hey, I'm supposed to go up and, house it for you. I have more shit on that, by the way. It gets so much worse, everybody. Prepare for how lucky my family is. But called him about that, told him the whole spill. He was laughing with me a little bit. He's like, it's crazy that it was a perfect hit. I sent him the photos and everything. Like, even the tow truck guy today could not figure out what was wrong with my car. He was like, dude, I'm not going to tow your car if it's just a jump. And I was like, it's not a jump. Look at this. And he was like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah. But anyways, told him about it. Told him I was going to get the rental and everything so I could still go up there. Today I went to get the rental. Despite how many times I've rented a car from them, they're like, we can't verify your address, so we can't rent to you until you get a pay stub or like a utility bill or something. And I'm like, okay. So I went home to get all that stuff. Then the insurance agent calls me. We talk about all that. He tells me there's no in-network mechanics I can go to. So I had to find my own mechanic. Found that, but then he hooked me up with a deal for the rental. So it's basically half off, which is dope. And then I finally found a rental place. Like, I called fucking everywhere. Finally found somewhere I could get into that sounded good.
Yeah.
Got the car towed. Got there. And you know how it's always difficult for me to get an oil filter?
Yeah. Getting a radiator.
It's difficult to get any part for a Kia, apparently. It's also the only place that has them is the dealership, and they mark everything up. So getting a radiator, a compressor, and 2 brackets is $1,850. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was gonna say, like, literally, if you could get it, I would have hit up Bill and be like, "Hey."
I looked because Chrissy's brother said the same thing, and I was like, honestly, my job said I could take tomorrow off if I need to. Like, if I can get a radiator in the next couple days, will you fucking knock this out? Have it done? I'm gonna try this again.
Yeah.
But no, it won't be ready until potentially next Thursday. And also, I talked to the mechanic guy, tried to get a hold of my insurance guy again, but he's going out of town because I was going to be like, hey, I'm pretty sure insurance isn't going to cover this because you can get radiators elsewhere, but you really can't. It just shows on websites and stuff. So I wouldn't be able to get a radiator until July.
Yeah.
Which, sure, then my insurance would cover the remainder after my deductible. But then I'm paying for a rental until July. So I'm like,
dude,
I'm just going to pay it. But I'm gonna tell you a thing. Take a sip of this, and then I'll continue. I technically don't have to go at my parents' house anymore.
Okay. So it's not because of the car.
It's not because of the car.
Hold on. Okay. Let's go. George can't stay at the house, so he's staying there already anyways?
No. That would be nice.
So I was like, I'm going for a positive spinish. That would
be a positive spinish.
Not really, because to me that means like the house, like he found a gas leak and it's leaking gas and he can't live there, and like, so I don't fucking know.
I don't want to say anything on an audio recording.
Oh,
no, I don't want to badmouth my brother on an audio recording.
Yeah,
I'm already pissed off about my life in general, and I don't want to talk smack about him because I'm already pissed off at him.
Yeah.
No, their flight got canceled. Because there was flash flooding in Miami.
Oh.
So their flight got canceled. They got moved to a different flight. That flight won't get there until 4:30 in the afternoon. The cruise leaves at 1.
And there's no other flights they can take?
Nope. So
take a flight to Georgia, drive down?
They're looking at it now. I mentioned that too. I was like, any chance you could hop on this, blah blah blah, and like they paid for upgrades and stuff for their flights.
But like it doesn't matter.
We get like
yeah.
So what it looks like is they're just flying home, and they're out. The $1,000 for the cruise and everything.
Damn.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna go to Miami.
They're just gonna come home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought the whole thing was that they were going to fly down there for the cruise and that they're missing it.
They were flying down for the cruise. They're stuck in Chicago right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this just happened.
Yeah, like today. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, because you're supposed to go up this weekend.
Yeah. So my dad's out $1,000. I just spent $1,000 today as well, too, for the deposit on it. I'm paying another $850. My dad might be paying another $850 for flights home.
Jesus fuck. Oh my god. Dude, that's sucking. That fucking sucks. Yeah. I was like, that sucking fucks.
It does suck and fuck.
Because that... yeah, that sucking fucks.
But it's our luck. And honestly, like my dad wanted like the cruise Like, I'm bummed he can't go on the cruise, but he wanted me, my uncle, my brother.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like he wanted my brother to go, but my brother was there, so he invited him to.
Yeah.
He wanted the guys to go.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, dude, I'm starting a new job.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm working. Like, I know I'll be, like, almost at a year come your birthday, but, like, I don't know where I'm going to be around your birthday.
Yeah, and then...
Yeah. And, you know, my car gets stabbed by a sword 3 days before your birthday. I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of the killer.
Yeah. But, you know, it's a silver lining in a sense, because I'm still going to go up there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be like, let's fucking hang out. I can't spend any money, but let's fucking hang out. You also probably don't want to spend any money because you just lost $1,000. But let's fucking hang out.
Well, that's the bonus of it being your parents, is you can just sit in the living room. It's like, it's cool. We're just even if it's spending trash time sitting there on your phones together, it's nice to do that.
Yeah.
So,
or like I said, they're trying to figure things out. I mentioned, like, why don't you just still go to Miami? You know?
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're coming back.
Well, because then they're spending more money to do things down on top of what they.
That was my.
Because I'm sure the cruise was all inclusive food, so they weren't going to have to spend any money. Yeah, because you're like.
Yeah. So he might. The other plan is they might come up here and stay in Detroit for a couple days and then go home, which could be cool as well too.
Yeah.
But I was,
go to a nice Dan.
I mentioned that. I was like, we can just, if you want to, we can hang out here. I'm like, I already have the weekend off. Like, I would like to work the weekend so I can pay for my radiator.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're cutting down manpower, so really I don't need to go in for the weekend.
That's fair. And you know what? Then technically you're also just paying for miles on the car, so it kind of starts. Yeah. It's not offset, but it's...
Well, it's unlimited mileage, but, I'm paying for gas.
Yeah, that's fair.
It doesn't get quite as good as gas as my Kia. Well, it doesn't get nearly as good as gas. I think
not... Yeah. Any SUV.
Any SUV.
What's your Kia get?
I've gotten anywhere from 37 to 58.
Yeah.
And I've not gotten below 37 in almost like 2 years. Man. Yeah. There was a solid year where I was getting 56. It was fucking amazing because it was all highway.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Yeah. No, yeah. It was all highway.
Yeah, it was fucking beautiful, man. Like, it cost me $60 to go see my grandparents in Kansas when we drove down there. Everybody was trying to give me gas money and shit, and I was like, no, I'm okay. You don't have to.
Honestly, it was nice that, like, when we went to Kentucky, we drove Jake's Subaru because his Subaru was averaging 32.
Yeah. What's your Jeep get, like 25?
Yeah, 23 to 25. I may drive a little fast, so it's a little lower. It's like 23.
That's the thing, too. If it's in a rental, I'm speeding.
Yeah, I am a unfortunate. I mean, I'm a drummer. I have lead foot. Yeah. It goes quick, and then also a lot of well, I also do a lot of highway driving now too, kind of because I take a chunk of the highway all the way here to work and then home, and then when I drive home, I'm basically. I was taking fucking 32 like Romeo because it makes it way more of a straight and it was a little quicker, but now they have construction going from...
Yeah, that's the route they fucking had me do today because there was an accident on the freeway and they were like, it's like a 6-minute delay, and then they had me get on that route and it was like all construction.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why the fuck did you do this? It added 20 minutes.
It just happened the last week, so that's annoying. So now I'm going back to my normal route. Yeah. It's still like the,
Yeah, I know the way. Also, sorry, I'm waiting on insurance people to text me, waiting on my parents to text me, so I'm going to be looking at my phone a lot. That's
fair. No, I went to, anyway, so I started taking the normal way, but I usually can go pretty fast. No, okay, so we're far enough in. I am going to bitch about Star Wars.
I haven't watched it yet, but that's fine.
I know.
I do have, coming from somebody who hasn't watched it, I have seen a lot of TikToks of people complaining and like arguing back and forth, so I might have a take that could sway you. But remember, it's coming from somebody who doesn't watch, so it's like a open-minded type deal.
So to me,
and if it doesn't, you can stab my car.
Deal. No. So basically, one of my I'll just kind of like, because I don't want to ruin the whole thing. I mean, are you gonna watch it or?
I'm gonna watch it eventually.
Yeah.
And like, you know how bad my memory is, man. Like, I can rewatch shows and forget completely about them, but just know that I like the shows.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, I think they'll be on like episode 5 at this point, because they're on episode 3. Yeah, it'll be at least 5 or 6. So it's like, the problem is like in episode 3, the first 2 episodes they dropped them in the same day, so it kind of blends as one episode.
Double feature,
so like, the first one is introducing the 2 main characters. They're twins. First, you just like you just think it's just this bad girl, and that's who it was, and then she's a twin. You see her face.
Nice.
Or you see her face, and then all of a sudden it flips to this girl that looks exactly like her, but in completely different outfit on a spaceship in space instead of on this planet, who had just fought with the Jedi, and then reveals that they're twin. Eventually, you figure out, because the Jedi find out that, you know, they're like looking for this person, and because they recognize her, they think she's a former Jedi, they come starting to find this girl and charge her for like attacking and killing a Jedi, and then she's like, I've been here, and then eventually throughout the 2 episodes, the little things like they prove it. Some of the stuff was like the acting's a little weird, wonky. It's like a couple awkward moments. I feel bad for the one Asian guy because he's carrying the show. He's a phenomenal actor, but he's an Asian actor, and he learned English 4 months ago.
Oh, I know who he is.
Yeah.
He's from Squid Game.
Yes, yeah. He learned English fucking 4 months before filming.
Yeah.
So, like, he could do this role, and it sucks because, like, they go on to the episode. The first 2 episodes were good. I enjoyed them. They had little gripes with them. They are fine. Episode 3 is the problem. Episode 3, they do the historical thing. Essentially, the whole story that these twins get separated is they were on this planet, and a fire killed their whole family, and she went with the Jedi, and they thought this girl May, the evil twin, was dead with this fire. They didn't think no one ever saw her, so they assumed she died in the fire that she started. But they show in this 3rd episode them as young girls. They're in this witch coven on a planet. It seems like their parents are power. They have 2 female. It's female witch coven, and they essentially together, these 2 2 head witches. I'm blanking on their names at this point. Like, but they fuck with the Force that they call the thread, and they have a different view of how the Force works.
Somebody played D&D. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And they start to like essentially they do the Anakin thing. These 2 girls are born without a father. They're born of the will of things. Gotcha. So it's like, okay, so you're doing the thing that, okay.
I will. I'm gonna cut.
I know. Hold on.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The other part is it's like, I wasn't super against that really, but to me that just means like, all right, so this obviously these 2 women are very, very powerful, that they were able to manipulate the Force to do so, right? So as the episode goes on, Jedi show up. They had been kind of secretly looking for them. You see that in the first beginning of the episode. These women are not supposed to be having the kids training to be witches, essentially, because kids are, galactic rules bullshit. They're supposed to be looked at for obviously to be Jedi because they will the Force. They have that power. And they basically show up just in time as they're supposed to be bringing the two girls into the witch coven. Osha, who's the Jedi girl, doesn't want to be a witch. Her sister does. And as they're doing it, May gets introduced into the witch coven. As they're about to do it with Osha, Jedi show up. They stop the whole scenario. The song that their like ritual song was fucking terrible. It sounded like it was. I just didn't like it. I don't know. There was no magic to it. It was just some like basic ass words, and it was like, at least use some fake language that makes it sound like you're weaving a spell, not just like, whoa, dude. I can't even remember. It was not good. Anyways, sister is pissed off that they end up having to go do a test to see if they want to test to be Jedi or not. The parents tell them to lie on the test so they don't become Jedi. Obviously, evil sister, she goes first, and then she lies the whole thing, says she failed it. Good girl goes in there, does want to be a Jedi, tries to fail it. They figure out she's trying to fail it and trick her into proving it, blah, blah, blah. She admits she wants to be a Jedi. They go back to their home, tells her, I want to be a Jedi. Basically has this, like, goodbye scene with her mom. Goes to pack up her shit, and then her sister's like, I won't let you. And, steals her notebook that she wouldn't let her sister look into, and goes outside the door, locks the door, opens it up. You see she drew a Jedi thingy. That, actually. Kind of. And then takes a lantern off the wall. Mind you, they're in a mountain of stone with metal doors. Lights this notebook on fire, throws it at the door. The door starts to immediately ignite. And then the walls start to ignite. And she has to, do the whole break the door thing open, zip the wires, climbs through a hole. And then as she's like running to try to escape, Soul comes in and pick the Asian guy. His name is Soul. He comes in to pick her up and save her. And then like tries to find May, but they can't. But as they're running out, you just see this entire witch coven essentially just looks like they went and took a nap on the ground while the fires are going on. You don't see a single one of them fighting the fire. You don't see a single one of them trying to save the mountain. No one shows up to try and protect the girls. Every single one of them is just laying there. And then they run out. And then essentially they start to fly off. And I was like, you're going to tell me that these two witches that are so powerful, they fucked with the Force and produced twins. Mind you, Palpatine does this one time and creates Anakin. One. Allegedly. One. And these women produce two. They have to be powerful as fuck. And they got beat by a fire.
I have not watched it. I plan to now that you've talked to me.
Yeah.
Because I want to see, like I said, I've been seeing TikToks. Basically this. Two white dudes fucking on a podcast. Generally, both white dudes are mad about the show. But I don't like Star Wars fans, so I don't believe them. I like you. I believe you if you tell me it's bad. However, I feel like you're a critical thinker and you don't get pissed off about the reasons they get pissed off.
Yeah. I'm mad because one of the other more background reasons is I was really hoping this would be really great because the woman that is running the whole thing is not someone that knows Star Wars and has come out as basically spoke in the past.
That's why you're mad?
No. There's some of the just some more of the background reasons to what upset me about the show in a different way. So this woman is basically come in and been doing the whole it's a very patriarchal show. all that kind of stuff, essentially saying she wants to assert more women power into things. No problem there with me. The problem is they keep giving them really bad storylines. And then instead of producing a really, really good story that has a female lead that empowers her in a good way, they're just writing these really terrible scripts and then just having the women there, and it's not even doing justice to what she's trying to do with the show. So it's also infuriating. That's like, all right, you're making it not good and just trying to do extra stuff.
Yeah, they want to make a Legend of Korra, but they're making Ghostbusters.
Like,
is the way I see it. Like, nobody hates Ghostbusters because it's female driven.
Yes.
People do. There's a lot of fucked up people that do.
Yeah, those fucking retards.
It wasn't.
Sorry, I shouldn't say retards, but I was super angry, and I'm like,
yeah. But what I wanted to say was, again, I haven't watched the show, so I don't know the predicament of where these women were. However, from like a fucking somebody who likes Star Wars and wanted to see more of like the Force creating avatars, basically.
Yeah.
How strong were the kids?
Well, okay, so like here's the thing: is it's like, to me, it's like they were going to start like getting into those little things, and that's not even like, I'm not even necessarily super.
No, what I'm getting at is you said that these two powerful witches just killed over and died, right?
Yeah.
What if the evil twin did some shit? The show's not over. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, basically. So what if she did more than just start a simple fire?
Oh no, she definitely doesn't kill her parents, because
she could have weakened them, is what I'm getting at.
No, essentially the whole thing is she's mad at her sister for not joining her and her family. She loves her family, and she wants to leave the coven to go be a Jedi instead of staying with her as a twin. Yeah, and they kind of
could follow the trope of it being I accidentally killed them, but
and that's kind of like, we're episode 3 in, and I hope they redeem it. But I was just like, I thought it was really cool that they were introducing the Witch Coven early stuff, and then like I have a theory like the mom didn't die and woke up and came back, some shit. But it's like, the problem is like, I was like, you really, like, supposedly this is like supposed to be this witch coven of powerful witches, and then they all just kind of die in a fire. They don't, and there's no, and like,
I was also going to ask.
There was 10 to 15 of them all in one room. I'm like, you really like?
Yeah, I was also going to ask up a follow-up question. Was what is the point of view of that story? Is it portrayed in a way to where it's coming from one of the children? Like, not a direct, like, one-to-one, the camera is seeing out of the child's eyes, but is it meant to be interpreted as you're seeing the memory from the child? Because that going into like reading comprehension.
No. It's essentially all it does is it was like 16 years earlier, and it just shows it's just kind of showing the thing.
I get that,
and I was like, I kind of like it. It had some promise to it. But just like, to me, the whole like devaluing the power of these witches that are supposed to be this powerful enough to fuck with the thread of the force of the universe and create two humans.
I get that. Like,
I was like, okay, I would have liked to actually at least have seen them like trying to hold the structure up, like trying to see, and they don't even show the structure burn down. They just kind of show them run out.
Did they do any other force powers?
Yeah. So she kind of shows like how she's like starting to train them a little bit and stuff, and she does the ritual, which puts like a thing on the one girl's head, and then they do that's really about it. She does a bunch of little shit.
That's it. That was going to be my next point. I haven't watched the show. I'm looking at it, like I said, I'm looking at it from seeing like. And I'm not calling you out.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you out. I'm looking at it as a bunch of like angry Star Wars fans But I'm looking at it as like there are different classes of wizards in D&D. Like, yeah, some of them can fucking make meteors fall to the ground and fucking build structures. Others, healers. The fact that those witches were strong enough to create a life doesn't mean they were strong enough to not get killed by fire. Well, like, what I'm getting at is maybe their powers were more in like the medical field. You know,
I mean,
and again, I haven't watched it, so I will watch it probably this weekend if my parents still need a house sitter. That was my plan.
Yeah.
But you know, like there's other factors that could go in. Again, I'm leaning more towards its shitty writing because a lot of the shit that's been coming out has just been shitty writing, except for the Fallout series. And I'm waiting for you to say one other thing that every other angry Star Wars fan has said, so I could point out something that a happy Fallout fan has said. How do you feel about the actors not knowing shit about Star Wars?
Oh, yeah, no, that part's pretty... Like, what the fuck, man?
You don't like it? My favorite thing that Fallout has ever done is cast a man who doesn't give a fuck about Fallout. Walter Goggins.
Well, it's different. Well, so I guess and again, okay, so I have not played any of the Fallout games, so I don't know. This is my blind view of it. That one makes sense because from what I understand, the character he's playing is a guy that kind of doesn't give a fuck about anything. Yeah. So it makes sense to do so.
But some of the things he has done without even really knowing any of the lore, blah, 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 has been like shot for shot from the video game.
That's cool.
Like he never fully goes into, it's called VATS. He never fully goes into that. But there's a moment where he's like getting shot, and you know, ghouls have like very high fucking constitution.
Yeah.
He's getting shot and then just steps back, reloads his gun, and just starts pinpoint shooting shit. And there's another scene where it's supposed to be like in his background, like he was a soldier before the war or before the bombs dropped. He was a soldier that wore this specific power armor, and it's the same power armor that these people had scrapped. And he was like, you know, there's a kink in the armor right there. And then he just goes into VATS again, which is like slow-mo aim for a critical spot. They don't overlay it. They don't do the VATS thing to make it be like, oh my god, that's VATS. It's just like, this dude did it. And it's great. And he would not have done that if he had known the lore.
Yeah.
Because he would have been like, oh, I have to do it this specific way, and it wouldn't have been as cool. So I like that we're getting people that don't know. But at the same time, I can agree with it, because it's like, you're not going to take care of my baby.
Yeah.
You know?
It's one of those things where it's like, you need to, like, she's playing a witch, and there is already witch lore involved in the Star Wars. Like,
you have the Three Sisters or something?
The Night Sisters.
Yeah.
So, like, and that's also one of the other issues, too, is it's like, so because these women didn't, if I say the women, I mean literally the director, and then also the woman that plays the mother. Those are like the two that kind of spoke out a lot about stuff, I guess, or at least I think she did the press tour a lot, because the other ones are like teenagers at max. But if they had actually just looked into the Star Wars lore, like the Night Sisters are like, they are the women, and then they rule the men in their society there because they are the powerful witches and they control the magic. And there's already like a really cool system that they could have had in the lore that they it feels like they kind of used it, but then they're not powerful.
Yeah.
The fucking Night Witches, the Night Sisters are powerful as shit. They could have made it like, at least done something. Not died to just... and also the main problem is do you know how hard it is to light a rock on fire or a metal door.
Depends on the rock.
Do you know how much? I was like,
how
much gasoline you need in this? And she puts it out with a lantern, a wall lantern, lights this entire. It's one of those like, okay, I'm okay with the fact that you said a fire started it, but do something more than that.
It's not enough. It's not enough to justify your suspension of disbelief.
And that's exactly it. It was like really bad writing, and it kind of feels like they just decided they couldn't think of a good enough reason. They're like, she just throws a fucking lantern at the notebook that she cares about.
Yeah, I think there's a huge disconnect's not the right word, but there's a huge difference when it comes to like the live action stuff and the animation stuff. And maybe it's like with animation you have more people sitting down like this to talk. Yeah. And you do have more people that care about the lore, but there's also people that come in for the animation projects that don't know much, and they have an idea, and they'll bring the idea out, and then someone like fucking what's his name, the cowboy hat guy,
Cad Bane,
not a character, like a storyboard, not storyboard. Dave Filoni, or somebody like the guy who voiced Star Killer. They're also in the room.
Yeah.
And like even Dave Filoni has like done interviews where he's like, yeah, I had this idea, and then
he's the head. He's the head of Star Wars. He should be the head of Star Wars.
But what I'm getting at is like even somebody like him will have an idea, and then somebody else who's in the room in animation, usually from what I hear, it's the fucking voice of Star Killer / Darth Maul / Obi-Wan. He'll be like, hey, actually in like a 32-second cameo in the Phantom Menace, this character said that, so we should take your idea and do it this way.
No,
but with live action, you've got Mark Hamill and fucking, from what I've seen, I'm blanking on her name, the lady who played Ahsoka.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, you've got those two. Yeah. And Samuel L. Jackson, honestly. Samuel L. Jackson is a little more funny with it, where he's like, how do we know that I died?
I mean, to be honest, there are a decent amount of people that are in the Star Wars universe that are fans of the universe.
But they don't have that power to speak up, is what I'm getting at. Like,
so essentially,
compared to animation versus live action, I've heard so many stories about animation where it's like, this fucking cameraman, or not cameraman because it's animation. This fucking
sound engineer.
This sound engineer was like, "Hey, actually, Darth Maul said this in fucking episode 14, season 2 of Clone Wars."
Yeah,
and then people are like, "Oh shit, okay, we're gonna change it and do it this way." Whereas with live action, it's like,
yes, but also where was that in the writing room? That's the problem. Is also they don't have any of that.
That's
in the
what I'm
writing
getting
room.
They don't have it anywhere.
And also part of it too is it's like, essentially it's just Kathleen Kennedy. She keeps making it really, from what I understand, everything I'm hearing, like someone dropped essentially the original idea for what the Obi-Wan series. The series was supposed to be,
I'll be honest,
3 movies.
I forgot so much about the Obi-Wan series. I think I was hyped about it, and I don't remember it.
They put $90 million. That's another one. They put $90 million into the Obi-Wan series. They put $180 million into the Acolyte. That should be reversed.
Yeah.
You put $180 million into the series that has fucking Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor reprising the 2 most important characters in all of Star Wars. And then
2 of the most important.
I mean,
fucking Luke, dude.
I mean,
they dropped the fucking ball with Luke.
Hayden Christensen becomes Darth Vader, who is the most important, and then you have Obi-Wan, who was his trainer, and the guy who also trains Luke. Luke is third, in my opinion.
That's why I'm saying 2 of the most important people.
Yeah. You can argue essentially it's an intertwining circle.
It's
trifecta.
Clearly Finn.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm very pissed off about how they dropped the ball with John Boyega.
That too. Yeah. A lot of these things are like, essentially, it was like Kathleen Kennedy kind of coming in, trying to do the women power thing. And I say that specifically because I've watched the videos where they go into the details of like original scripts, and they were so much better because the scripts were better, and they still had Daisy Ridley as the main character as it was, but like it's been so long that I forgot what those original ideas were, but I remember listening and just being like, dude, like, they're not, like, I said it before, I'll say this again as a repeat. Instead of just making a really, really good story in a film with a female lead, like, they just basically made, like, they focused on the female part of it and just made a story around it. To me, it's the equivalent of, like, Alien. Like, Alien, it doesn't matter who's really the person. The whole aspect of the story is that there is an alien in the ship and you're supposed to fight it and not die. It makes it that much more badass that they had a woman character in it, but they don't emphasize the fact that she's a woman in it.
I get that 99%. I get that. I will say there are... And it there's a very fine line. Yeah. Of making it to where being a woman is the cool factor. Yeah. And then accidentally being like, oh, women. You know, like... Yeah. And I agree with you. A character, regardless of gender, whoever you throw in there, shouldn't matter. Yeah. However, there are times where it's like the fact that this is a woman or a man doing it in this certain thing, and I cannot think of a good example, makes it better. Oh, no, yeah. I will agree with you, though, in a fantasy sense. Yeah. Like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, D&D, whatever the fuck you want. Regardless of the person's gender, if they're male, female, anything in between, anything outside of, doesn't matter. Yeah. The fact that, and I wanted it to be a Legend of Korra thing where, like, I didn't like Legend of Korra at first because it wasn't The Last Airbender. Yeah. Rewatched it as an adult. Fucking love it. Yeah. I wanted to come back to that trilogy and have that same switch up. They were fucking boring.
Which one? The original?
The new trilogy. Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and all them. Yeah. It was boring.
And that's the thing, is like the original ones I heard, like, they had a lot better...
Not the original ideas, sorry. I meant
like the prequels. What we saw. Yeah. What we saw was boring, and it was like, dude, I'm like, Daisy Ridley is a phenomenal actress.
All of them were.
Yeah. The only reason that the movie is salvageable to me is because, okay, like, I'm going to love anything in the Star Wars universe. I'll still watch it. Mm-hmm. I'm that guy. But, like, it felt... They fucked it up by, like, not just allowing, like, one director to do all three. So it had the same feel.
Definitely been one director.
It should have just been J.J. Abrams the whole way through.
I don't like him. But, yes, if he was the one that started, it should have been him.
And that's the only reason I say that, is because he was the one that did number one. And I'm like, okay, like... Also, I heard some of the story, like, of the, not necessarily what he was directing, but obviously the writers that had written the original script for the trilogy through that he had started, and it was really, really good. But then they swapped out directors for 7 and 8, and he tried to throw a bunch of shit in, and it fucked the whole movie up and made it bad. So there was no cohesiveness.
I think I liked some of the ideas. That John, agreed. What is his name? John Ryan?
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. I liked some of the ideas he had. And I think it could have gone good. However, when they dropped the third one, J.J. Abrams was like, nah. And I respect that decision, but also I'm like, dude, you are continuing a story. It's like the same as playing fucking D&D. If I left for a couple sessions and came back and was like, wow, you guys fucked up the story that I thought it was going to, and like even the DM was like, I don't like this where they're going, but this is what was role played. I would take what you did and try to move it into a way that's a little better.
No, agreed.
Rather than just being like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Well, most of the problem is Rian Johnson did that exact same thing to JJ's story. So all of the stuff JJ had started.
Agreed. However, their idea with having multiple directors was kind of like a player 1 is going to start it.
Yeah.
And then player 2 is going to build off it. Then player 3. That way the ideas don't get stagnant.
Yeah.
Dumb. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You can do it for a TV show because it's fucking... You have several episodes to fix the mistakes.
Like, to me, the way you do that is you have the 3 directors sit together and work it out together. Mm. And then, obviously, the way that they're filmed and the shots and the cinematography and the way that they want to do things is what gives the each individual one their different feel for the director. But... the storyline should have been cohesively written together and that was the issue. Is like the storyline gets all messed up, and if the storyline's not good, it doesn't create a great movie. Like they nailed it with Carrie Fisher. Like George Lucas nailed Carrie Fisher being a badass motherfucker and being like a great woman representative. Like, and that's the thing is like they all reference like they want like another Carrie Fisher for this generation, and I'm like she's Carrie Fisher because, one, she was great at that role, but they gave her a great role. I'm like, you're giving these women shit roles.
One thing that I would give to a lot of people trying to write a story, and I do this with D&D sometimes, is, well, not too much anymore, but when I started out, I sometimes wanted to play characters that were, you know, I've played a couple women, and then I've played a couple characters that were gay or bisexual or something.
Yeah.
I didn't make that their thing.
Yeah.
Like, they might, you know, offhanded, like if I was playing a gay character, he might hit on a dude in a tavern. But I play him just the same way I would play myself.
Yeah.
Well, not the same way I play myself.
Hey.
You know,
I mean...
But even the women characters, I was like... It's me still, so I wrote it as like a straight white man.
Yeah.
The fact that they were, you know, a fucking gnome barbarian woman.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. And it's like they could have essentially like, yes, like you can include with Ray, like they could have included a couple moments of guys being like, oh, you're a woman, brr. Not, but like in subtle ways and like showing
honestly, Legion, the X-Men series, Aubrey Plaza's character was originally written as like a 40-something-year-old white guy.
Yeah. That's cool.
Aubrey Plaza killed it.
Yeah. Like, to me, again, like, as long as the writing is great, then it's there. Like, give me some examples of, like, you know, like, it doesn't have to be super, like, the guy makes super demeaning comment against women. It's the, like, you know, when they're doing the lightsaber thing, and he's obviously doing the, like, I'm bigger and stronger than you, and he's smug about it.
Shit. Yeah.
And she overpowers the fuck out of him with a super, you know, that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
They had a couple moments like that in those prequels, and like there's moments I enjoy about them, but overall it sucks because the storyline's not very cohesive, and there's weird, like the whole like Rian Johnson venturing off to the planet for Rose and them to do like
the casino shit was weird.
And that was it. It was like, why did you wasted like 30 minutes of film footage to basically just repoint out to all of us that like the government sucks and they steal our money and that they all work together, and we're like, cool, we all know that. Didn't need that in Star Wars unless you were going to make a really good point out of it, and they didn't.
The biggest thing I hated was And it's not about the story. It's about how they continued it in the third one.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I hated was Rose the Asian actor?
Yes.
Yeah. I liked Finn having a potential romantic interest that was not Ray.
Yeah. No, I didn't mind that either, but then
But then the third one, they cut it to where it was like Finn was into Ray, fucking Oscar Isaac's character was into Ray, and Ray was into fucking Kylo Ren, kinda, maybe.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was the problem. Is they did a whole trifecta of different relationships. They basically just cut Rose out of it.
Yeah, Rose like was barely there, and I was like, fucking keep Rose in.
I didn't have a single problem with the character.
And even then, if you want Finn to still have a romantic interest in Ray, we've been in the dating scene before.
Yeah.
If you are not with someone officially, you can still flirt with other people.
Yeah.
So there can still be that will they, won't they.
Yeah.
Maybe he's into Rose. Maybe he's into Ray. Maybe he's into Oscar Isaac's character. Let's make him gay. It's fine.
Yeah. Again, doesn't matter. Make it like, to me, the problem there was like everyone's into Ray, and then like Rose was kind of like this random like, I care about you, Finn, and then like, but, you know, they have the whole love thing, and
I'll
then
see
she's
you
just
later
gone.
in the war. Like,
well, the problem is like the reason the original with Carrie Fisher, the original stories, everyone rewatches them because they had a phenomenal story, and you know, obviously like the old graphics are the things that turns most new people off to it, but when you like it, you enjoy it because the story was there and the characters were great and exactly the way they were. In this one, it was like they just didn't focus on the story to make it good, and it's not rewatchable, which doesn't give it the power that they wanted, and that's that's the sad part of it. Is it's like they didn't even also accomplish their goal,
and
that they were trying to set.
Extra annoying is like I read a lot of the extended universe.
Yeah,
like, I feel like you're a bigger Star Wars fan than I am.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I'm a bigger Star Wars fan with a lot of the extended universe stuff before it became Legends. And then as soon as Disney was like, it's not canon, I was like, fuck you, I'm out. You know?
Yeah.
Like, but they had the opportunity to take so much of those ideas and just rework them.
Bro, I wanted Myra Jade.
Oh, dude, we all want her.
Like, give me her. She's fucking ridiculously powerful, and then they have that ability. Also, the one thing I'm really worried about is the girl that did the Acolyte is supposedly in talks to be the person that's going to redo Knights of the Old Republic, and the fact that this sucks, I'm like, because from what I heard, they like kind of wanted to go a different route with the show and have it come from Bastula's view, which no problem. I think that's awesome. I love that. But give it to someone that we know, knows Star Wars, knows those games. I give it to a woman that is a Star Wars fan and knows those games and knows the right way. Don't give it to just a random woman because she's a director and is a woman and wants to bring a powerful thing. I'm like, give it to someone that will truly bring it all justice and make it because Bastila is, because that's the thing is, do not fuck with Bastila. She's phenomenal.
Same agreement, but also don't give it to a man.
No,
doesn't know the lore. And wants to write their own story. Give it to somebody who actually gives a shit about the project.
Yeah.
Like, look at the final season of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
They didn't give a fuck about Game of Thrones.
It sucked.
Like, look at the new season of fucking The Witcher that's coming out.
Terrible.
There's no hate towards the fucking
actor.
The actor.
It's the writers.
It's the fucking writers.
Yes.
Like, you had a phenomenal actor who gave a shit about the lore.
Yes.
He's gone.
Yeah. It's that exact same thing. Is it's like we're not like And obviously, there's in every single part of the world, there's always those fucking assholes that are like, "Oh, they're just doing woke shit." And I'm like, I don't care that they're doing woke shit. I care,
good woke shit.
I care that they're doing woke shit terribly, and it makes an argument for those assholes to make against the woke shit. And I'm like, no, if you made it that good, then there's nothing they can argue against because it is that goddamn good.
Like I hated people that talked shit about what is that fucking Marvel movie?
Captain Marvel?
No, I didn't watch the new one. I watched the first one. I liked that one.
Yeah, I saw the first one.
The one with the fucking immortal people.
Oh, the Immortals?
Is it the Immortals?
Yes. I haven't watched it.
I watched that. It was enjoyable. Not one of my favorite ones. But it was enjoyable. The thing that I found super cringy was the end credits where it was like, oh, fucking Jon Snow's character is actually this guy. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, your end credits are getting fucking lame now. But the show, I liked it. The way they did a speedster was really great. The story was great. The fact that, like, the big bad was actually somebody who you didn't fully expect.
Yeah.
It was good. But then everyone was like, oh, it's super woke. Like, the Immortals sucked. Like, they made it all about, like, this woman, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't even remember what was going on with the woman. What are you talking about? Like, you know, like, the woman was fine. I was more interested in this shit where it was like an immortal race finds out, like, what they actually are and why they're there on the planet that they've lived on forever, and they malfunction and try to save the fucking planet, but because you guys hated it, now we can't figure out where there's a giant fucking celestial being's hand popping out in the fucking North Pole.
Like, I get, to me, it just comes down to one of those things where it's like, look, you're not giving the stories justice. You're kind of just writing some shit to throw stuff in there, and it's like you could make a lot of great things with this, and you're not. Like I said, they have Mara Jade, they have a bunch of stories. The reason that, like,
twins, they could have done shit with that. I was hyped. I was so excited for Kylo Ren, and then I was like,
yeah, they made him kind of like just a whiny, and I'm like, it was Adam Driver could have made him so much better, more powerful,
so good at that role.
But like when it comes to I guess specifically back to more like the woke stuff with this show, most of the problem is that, like, I think like 2 or 3 different times the director was in the news for basically being super woke about Star Wars and yelling at the fans about Star Wars. So I was like, I don't care. Just give me a good show. I don't, include the woke shit. That's really cool. I'm happy. Just like the woke shit. Just make it good. Yeah. But you're not making it good, and that's where it's like, okay, that's the problem. Is you're undermining. Also, one of the other giant parts of this, in that she basically came out and was like, basically the fans don't care about anything anyone else says that's not George Lucas, unless George Lucas approves of it. Like, they will shun it because he's the one and only. And it's like, the man who created the whole show should have a bit of say in how the story ends up going. We're not saying it because it's a dude. We're saying it because he literally created it. It's the same way of, like, the reason the Barbie movies, they talked to the woman that made Barbies, and when they wrote this movie, that's why they make a reference to her as with a character in it. Like, you respect whoever created the universe. That's who is J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter. She controlled. I mean,
fuck her.
Yes, fuck her. But for example, she was a woman that controls the creativity of her universe.
You go to them and figure out, hey, I have this idea. What do you think?
Yeah, but there's whoever controls created the universe is usually the one that should have the end all say all of, like, all right, I'm okay with that, or I'm not okay with that. And for her to basically come out and basically be like, blah, 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 blah. And then, so when you see the product that came from that mindset, you're like, all right, fuck. I'm like, you're not treating this the right way. You disrespected both sides of the coin you were trying to get.
Yeah.
But,
I get that. But
I don't know.
At the same time, I'm hopeful for some of the stuff. But
me too. I'm still hopeful that I can come in next week whenever the new episode drops, and just not next week because it won't drop before then. But I'm just like, I want to like the show. I'm still really hopeful that somehow they re-ravel all the things together. But man, it just wasn't good. But I don't know. Sorry, I ranted on Star Wars for we talked about it for a long time.
It's all right.
I was upset. I'm like, I love that.
It took my mind off of me being pissed off
about your car. That's fair. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We love you guys, and have a good week. Be nice to everyone you know, and well, unless they're assholes. And yeah, bye.